Hello and welcome back to the third of these little chats. So we've done binding, we've done unbinding, and today we're going to talk about curses. And I have to admit that the first thing that started going around in my head as I was planning these things was the song from Hocus Pocus, the first film with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy. Where they put a spell on you, and that went round and still it started again. It's so yeah. So for anyone else that is now going around in your head, and on the blog post, I will actually put a link so that if you want to actually watch them doing that, please. Because as I say, it went straight in and came and went and has just been going around ever since. Anyway, a curse. What is a curse? It is a spell. Now, cursing tends to be a malevolent spell that is cast to inflict harm upon another. They can be spoken, they can be written, they can be given with just a look. Remember the evil eye, where somebody looks at you and in their brain they're saying something? Objects can be cursed with bad luck, misfortune, and everything else. Think about the Romans and what's been found in places like Bath. Little curse tablets written on lead and folded up and thrown in for the goddess Sulis to blight somebody's life because they stole their towel. You know, cursing has been around a long, long time. And as human beings, we have made numerous ways of doing it. So yes, should you do it regularly? That's up to you. Personally, no. It's some, as I said in the previous two, for me, knowing about these things is power for me, in that I can then recognize when it's being done, when I see somebody else do something. It's for me to recognize whether I do it or not. If you were going to cast a curse, one, don't do it regularly. Just, you know, the world is a difficult enough place without us throwing more malevolent energy around. But it needs preparation. If you're going to do it, you need to be prepared. It definitely should not be done in the heat of the moment when you are angry and upset. Because it is going to just go woof, and it is just, so no. You need to let the emotions settle. So this means time. Now, time for me also means a time for more information to come to you. Because just because you get a knee-jerk reaction that so-and-so did that to you, so you're going to do it back to them, doesn't necessarily mean that it was so-and-so. They could have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it could be something completely different. It might not even be a curse. I would say cursing is not something that happens very often in reality. On the films and TV shows, of course, it happens every 5 minutes. But in reality, I don't believe that it happens very often. I think a lot of the time it is something that is just meant to occur to give us a lesson in life for whatever reason. Most of the time. But there are times when somebody will have cursed you. You can also curse yourself, by the way. With all those negative thoughts, you can actually curse yourself. You can have a little run of bad luck. As I say, for me, I try to look at it as, okay, this has happened and this has happened. What am I not seeing? What lesson is the universe throwing at me? Or a deity? You know, because sometimes it can be a deity that's literally dropping rocks on you because you're not taking notice of something. So yeah, it's a time for me to actually step back and think, okay, what am I not registering? What am I not picking up around this? And as I say, normally that is what it tends to be. But anyway, I'm getting off track again, aren't I? I apologise. So another good way of looking at it is, would you do it in reality? If whatever you are thinking of doing to somebody, would you actually do it in reality? And if the answer is no, then just don't do it. It's just not worth it. And if you are going to do anything like this, make sure that it's equivalent. So very similar in civil law, in that you can use the same amount of force being inflicted on you. So if somebody hit you and then proceeded to hit you again, then you would be, in the eyes of the law, allowed to hit them back. You wouldn't be allowed to stab them or shoot them or kill them, because that would not be the equivalent. So yeah, there's that sort of, it gets very complicated, because obviously if somebody's continuously hitting you, they are trying to kill you. So yeah, but yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you use the equivalent level of force in retaliation. You don't go overboard. So yeah, so if you wouldn't do it in real life, just don't do it in magic. Why would you? And you need to plan it. You need that plan in place of what you are going to do and why you are going to do it. And you have to be very, very clear on why, because that's your intention. So your intention has to be spot on. And this is where, as I say, because you're taking this time, you may find out that actually it's not necessary, that if it was something that somebody had done, it's rebounded on them because they hadn't done it properly. Or that actually it doesn't need to be done because it wasn't a curse. It was just a run of bad luck, or it was misinterpreted. The person may have done it in the heat of the moment, and then they may have undone it. You can undo curses. It takes a little bit of effort, but you can undo them. So if somebody does it, like the evil eye, it can be done in the heat of the moment. And then somebody, if they are magically inclined and realise what they've done, can think, oh, I let that loose by accident. Let's reel this one back in. So it could have all just disappeared off. So whatever you were planning isn't necessary. It's good education for you, something to put in your folder or book of shadows or whatever it is that you keep little jottings and notes and things in, because it's all good practice. It's all good learning for you, but you may never actually need to put it into practice because it's just gone. It's not there anymore. As I say, writing things on lead and throwing them into sacred pools and springs is one way of making sure that your curse is there forever. You've got to love the aromas. But yeah, they didn't only put curses and malicious energy out there. There were thank yous and everything else. But yeah, I think in the Roman baths there was over 100 specific curse tablets found. So as I say, we've been doing it for a long, long time. And I think I said this in one of the previous ones, when you actually go through books, and as I say, it could just be the books that I've got on my bookshelf, but I don't think it is. Most of them don't actually cover this subject in great detail. The one person who does in any detail is our Rachel, thank goodness. Go on the internet and you can find thousands, some of which are very good, some of them are extremely bad, and some of them are And very few of them on the internet actually say to stop and think. There are a few that say to actually plan it and not to do it in the heat of the moment, but they're few and far between. Which is why I started off with that as you know, hold it, let the emotions die down. So we've already talked about lead. Now lead's a bit tricky to get hold of in this day and age. So what other things can you use? So Rachel, in her book Spells and Charms, has got some suggestions. So cursing stones. So you can either write on the stone or just hold it in your hand. Let all that energy that you want, just direct it into the stone. This is one way of not actually directing it at a person, by the way. So if you actually do feel that you want to curse something, but you actually don't want to curse the person, then you can actually do it into the stone. The stone will take it. Ask the stone first, because obviously some stones may say, nah, not ready for that. Other stones, you'll just, and you'll know. And they'll just say, yeah, give it to me. I'll store it for you. If you want to use it later, that's absolutely fine. And if you don't, you can cleanse me and I'll let it go. So yeah, do check with the stone first. Now this doesn't have to be a crystal. So I'm using the word stone. It can be a crystal if that's what you're pulled to use, but it could just be a pebble that you suddenly see outside and think, oh, hello, do you want to work with me? I need to let this energy out, and can you hold it for me? So basically you just hold the stone. Focus all of that energy in. Just let it, you know, and the stone will hold it for you. When you want to release it, you then either walk round in a circle anti-clockwise, or you twist the stone anti-clockwise to let that energy out, whether it's to let it out to the universe to disperse it, or whether it's because you now know, yes, I want to use this emotion. In the cool, calm light of day, I want to use that emotion. Once you've emptied the stone, obviously you're going to cleanse the stone. I would tend to do that under running water, whether it's from a tap or a stream or whatever. You could also do it if it's like this rain. You could say to the stone, I'm going to put you outside for a little while, just to let the rain cleanse you. But yeah, I would definitely make sure that there was no residual energy left in there. Now, the other way that you can use a stone is, like I said, if you know that you aren't going to use the energy, you just want it out of you because it is eating you up. Put it into the stone, leave it outside, let the rain, wind, snow, whatever, deal with it. Tell the stone that's what you're doing, because obviously otherwise the stone will hold on to it. If you say, I'm asking you to take this energy and then I'm going to put you outside so that the sun, wind, rain can actually take this energy away from you and from me and send it out. Or you can throw, if you're by the sea, oh, I'm so envious. So if you're by the sea, find a pebble on the beach that's willing to work with you, put it in, throw it. Tell the stone, obviously. Or if you're near a stream or a lake or something, you could do the same. But yeah, and that way you're letting that energy out. If you don't want to use it, you know you're not going to use it, but you need to get rid of it, use a stone. Stones are brilliant. Rachel also suggests that you could, now this is very similar to the lead in that once you've done this, unless you use I'll come to that. So one of the things she suggests is using, you know how you can get slices of agate? You can get quite small slices as well as huge ones. So she said use an agate slice and inscribe your curse and set your curse in stone. Now that would be very permanent if you inscribed it. And that's, as I talk, the ideas just pop. So if you didn't want to make it a permanent one, what you could use is something that would clean off with water, a water-based something, pen of some description. If you wanted something that was going to be hard to get off, but could be got off, then you could use something like, I want to say nail polish, because you could pick that off. I wouldn't use nail polish remover on an agate slab. But you could, if you wanted to, and as you were unpicking what you'd written, yeah, just, sorry, my brain's just going off in weird and wonderful directions like it does. But anyway, we'll come to undoing curses another stage. Another idea that Rachel gives is using what she calls a cursing packet. So what you'll need for this is hair, nail clippings, photo, or something the person has written. You place all of those items on a cloth or a paper, and then you add anything obnoxious that you can think of whilst visualizing what you want to happen to them. Fold up the packet, fold it nice and tightly, and then burn it and dispose of the ashes away from you and your property. It's quite a nice one. Again, that's quite a permanent one because you wouldn't, because you've burnt it and it's out there. It'd be very hard to undo, but you can undo it. But yeah, it's now remember that cursing can also be a form of manipulation. So if you want to change somebody's behavior, you could use herbs that matched your intention: a fireproof dish, charcoal disc, or a candle, obviously matches, or a lighter. You'd light your disc or your candle and put it into your dish. Hold whatever herbs you're using in your hands, visualizing what you want the person to do. So, as I say, it's manipulation of somebody. So if you want them to go away, you'd visualize them going away. If you want somebody to perform a particular thing or do a particular thing, then you'd be concentrating on that. You then sprinkle the herb, taking care, obviously, not to burn yourself, onto the disc or the flame while saying something along the lines of, "It is not this herb that I wish to burn, but," person's name, "heart to turn, that they may neither rest nor happy be until they," desired action, "me." That's it. All words to that effect. Those are the words that Rachel's put. As I say, make it your own. Do your own thing. Herbs, suggested herbs to use specifically for cursing. Where am I? There we go. So we would go with cypress, dragon's blood, rowan, wormwood, and yarrow. And for the crystals, if you wanted to use crystals, you've got agate, alexandrite, amethyst, angel light, diamond, emerald, flint, shark teeth, garnet, hematite, kunzite, kyanite, obsidian, onyx, opal, and ruby. So I hope you're enjoying this little mini series and that you are learning something, or I'm triggering something for you to go and look at. I will see you in the next one, which will obviously be uncursing.